The perfect crime. The mystery of D.B. Cooper.
On November 24, 1971, Portland International Airport was choked with holiday travelers rushing through a freezing winter rainstorm. Walking among them was a quiet, completely unmemorable man in a dark business suit and a heavy black trench coat. He paid cash for a one-way ticket to Seattle under the name Dan Cooper. He boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305, took seat 18C in the very back, lit a cigarette, and ordered a bourbon. Once in the air, he handed a folded piece of paper to a 23-year-old flight attendant across the aisle. Assuming it was a phone number, she casually dropped it into her purse. Cooper leaned in closer, his expression completely hidden behind dark sunglasses. In a low, chillingly polite whisper, he told her, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." To prove he was serious, he slowly unlatched his attaché briefcase. Inside the dark leather bag, the flight attendant saw 8 red cylindrical sticks wrapped in wire, all connected directly to a massive, heavy battery. This skyjacking was unique for 1971. While criminals at the time typically demanded political asylum in Cuba or the release of imprisoned radicals, Cooper was commandeering a domestic airliner for purely financial reasons. He issued 3 non-negotiable demands: $200,000 in negotiable $20 bills, 4 military-grade parachutes, and a fuel truck standing by on the runway in Seattle the exact second they touched down. When the flight crew relayed this to the cockpit, the corporate executives at Northwest Orient Airlines immediately recognized the risk. A mid-air explosion over an American city would destroy their company's reputation. They ordered full compliance. By leveraging a single briefcase on a short domestic flight, one passenger successfully bypassed the standard security protocols of both the airline and the federal government. While Flight 305 circled the stormy skies over Seattle for 2 hours, Cooper remained unnaturally calm. He never raised his voice, accurately identified the terrain below through the clouds, and even offered to pay his drink tab while comforting a nervous flight attendant. Down below, local authorities and federal law enforcement scrambled to meet his deadline, rushing to secure military parachutes from a local skydiving school and amassing 21 pounds of cash from Seattle banks. But the FBI prepared a trap. This diagram illustrates their countermeasure. Agents rapidly photographed and recorded the serial numbers of all 10,000 $20 bills. If Cooper ever tried to spend a single dollar, the trap would snap shut. At 5:24 p.m., the plane landed on a remote, brightly lit section of the Seattle runway. Cooper took delivery of the heavy canvas sack of cash and the chutes. True to his word, he released all 36 regular passengers, completely unharmed. This hostage exchange solved his extraction problem. By clearing the cabin of civilians, he eliminated unpredictable liabilities, keeping only the essential flight crew required to facilitate his getaway. Before taking off again into the dark winter night, Cooper ordered the pilots to head toward Reno, Nevada, following a highly specific, bizarre set of flight instructions. The demands baffled aeronautical engineers at first. They couldn't immediately see why a hijacker would intentionally compromise the physical stability of his own escape vehicle. He required the aircraft to maintain an altitude of 10,000 feet, with the cabin completely unpressurized. He ordered the landing gear deployed and flaps angled at 15 degrees, forcing the jet to fly slowly enough to safely lower the rear staircase during flight. He ordered the final flight attendant into the cockpit and locked the heavy door. Standing entirely alone in the dim aisle, he tied the heavy canvas bag of cash around his waist and strapped 2 parachutes to his body. He opened the rear door, exposing the cabin to a howling 0-degree winter blizzard. Below the icy metal stairs lay a freezing, pitch-black void of rugged mountains and dense pine forests. At exactly 8:13 p.m., a red warning light flashed on the cockpit dashboard. The pilots felt a violent, sudden upward bounce as the tail of the aircraft pitched toward the sky. By utilizing the precise mechanical vulnerabilities of the Boeing 727, Cooper had converted a commercial airliner into a custom parachute dropship. When the heavy jet finally touched down in Reno, its rear stairs dragging along the concrete runway in a shower of sparks, military commandos swarmed the cabin. They found an empty ghost ship. The Skyjacker was gone. The FBI launched Operation NORJAK. They deployed hundreds of soldiers, tracking dogs, military helicopters, and even submersibles to scan the local lakes. But the thick undergrowth and freezing terrain swallowed every trace of the man. Despite the nature of the crime, the public response took an unexpected turn. Soon, songs were being written about him, T-shirts were printed with his police sketch, and local bars organized annual festivals in his honor. Because he had escaped without firing a shot or harming a passenger, he was romanticized as a modern-day Robin Hood who had outmaneuvered both the airline and the federal government. The case sat dead for 9 years, until a sunny afternoon in February 1980. The young boy digging his campfire pit on the sandy beach unearthed 3 bundles of heavy, rotting cash held together by degraded rubber bands. Forensic scientists placed the damaged bills under microscopes. The serial numbers matched the FBI database perfectly. It was $5,800 of the original ransom. This discovery shifted the prevailing theory. Many profilers concluded that jumping into a freezing blizzard over a jagged mountain forest was likely fatal, suggesting the river currents eventually washed his decaying ransom onto the beach. Investigators spent the next 4 decades examining hundreds of eccentric suspects. They profiled quiet paratrooper employees. They profiled Marine veterans and copycat skyjackers, yet not a single individual produced a definitive fingerprint or DNA match. In July 2016, after 45 years of exhaustive searching, the FBI admitted defeat and officially moved Operation NORJAK into the permanent cold case vault. He walked away into a dark winter night, leaving behind a mystery that remains the only unsolved skyjacking in commercial aviation history. Thank you for watching History Awakened. If you want to unearth more deep, dark, untold chapters of world history, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below about what shocked you the most.